Hey everybody, welcome back to this video. I am going to be talking about an illegal fat burner today that was considered to be the most potent and strong fat burner prior to 2004. It was completely legal. It is now not legal for any sort of supplement use or any sort of use at all. It is not something you can talk to your doctor about and use like yohimbine or any of my other videos that I've talked about. This is illegal. Do not use this stack, but I'm going to talk about it because I find it fascinating. So this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. I am not a doctor. I do not pretend to be a doctor. I am not your doctor. I'm not your parents. I'm not telling you what to do, except for the fact that you should not take this. And that is pretty much it. So let's get into the video. So the ECA stack, or the EC stack, is combined medications of ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin, or ephedrine and caffeine, as they later figured out, was just as efficient or nearly as efficient as ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin without all the strain on the body. Now, ephedrine is a medication that is used for bronchodilation, and this is for asthmatics. I have taken ephedrine because I use it for bronchodilation, meaning that it allows the airway to open up, and it is extremely potent when it comes to helping asthmatics be able to breathe. As many of you know, epinephrine and norepinephrine are fat-releasing hormones. Now, these are essentially the fast-acting adrenalines, and ephedrine is very similar to epinephrine and norepinephrine in chemical structure, which might have some indication as to why it is so potent at helping with fat loss. In this stack, ephedrine has also been seen to increase the amount of thermogenesis going on with one's body. It can increase the temperature after eating certain foods so that your body does not store them as fat. In the studies conducted on the ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin stack, 3/4 of the weight loss was due to appetite suppression and not specifically any of the actions inside the body besides suppressing one's appetite. Ephedrine and caffeine increase the amount of T4, or precursor hormone, in the body, increases the amount of T4, precursor hormone, in the body that turns into T3, which is the active catabolic hormone. Catabolic meaning getting rid of tissue. And also, what's really fascinating is it seems to not have any tissue breakdown affinity for muscle tissue because of the way it acts on the receptors. The T4 to T3 conversion, unlike the other effects of the ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin stack, was not limited over time, meaning most of the effects that ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin would give someone will become hindered over time, meaning they will build a tolerance, and thus the chemicals will no longer have an effect on that person's body. However, the T4 conversion into T3 seems to continue to be stabilized over time, even if they've been taking it for a long time. And again, as I stated before, T3 is raised in the body, but typically speaking, when someone consumes straight T3, they have a decrease in muscle, and because of muscle protein breakdown due to catabolism. However, for whatever reason of the action on the receptor, there's a more scientific breakdown, but I'm not going to go through it. It actually does not get rid of any of the muscle that it normally would have if you were to just take straight thyroid hormone. So another reason caffeine is included is caffeine inhibits the amount of adenosine, or inhibits adenosine for fat burning, which is the reason that it is contained in so many fat burners, as well as the fact that it can increase how many calories you burn in a day. Caffeine and aspirin are included in the stack because they extend the effects of the ephedrine. They make it last longer in the body. And in fact, when ephedrine was used alone, there was 0 fat burning effects on the body. And the body's ability to naturally eradicate it was completely unhindered. When you take caffeine and aspirin, it hinders the body's natural ability to eradicate the ephedrine, thus making it last longer in the body and its effects becoming more potent. Later studies actually showed that the aspirin for the ECA stack was completely unnecessary, or at least seemingly unnecessary, because ephedrine and caffeine, given in the ratio that I'm not going to say here because I do not want anyone to try this, was actually useful enough for the fat loss purposes that people were trying to get. Ephedrine was removed from the market, or the ECA stack was removed from the supplement market in 2004 by the FDA. They claimed to have cited many severe adverse events. Later analysis showed that the claims were fake or exaggerated of these severe adverse effects, mainly due to people overdosing on caffeine and ephedrine. Now, ephedrine, like other drugs, can be an exacerbation for pre-existing conditions, and in this case, it was as well. Now, normal doses in normal people have never actually been reported of severe adverse side effects. So with the normal ratio given for ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin, for people without pre-existing conditions, there was no signs of any adverse side effects. The other reason ephedrine was banned was because some very smart chemists determined that with some slight changes to the molecule, they could essentially turn it into amphetamine. And obviously, as you know, this is illegal, and that is why ephedrine, even as an asthma medication now, is sold behind the counter. You don't have to have a prescription to get it, but it is sold behind the counter in the names Broncaid and another one. Broncaid contains also another substance that helps to alleviate some chest congestion for people with asthma. That is the one that I used to take. And this is very similar to the reason why Mucinex is also behind the counter, or at least the original formula is, because some very handy-dandy chemists figured out that they could turn Mucinex into what they call a no-no crystal, as I heard once on a joke on TikTok. And lastly, and a very big reason for why ephedrine was taken off the market, ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin, I should say, it was found that ephedrine and caffeine combinations were found to be more effective than any drug currently on the market in 2004 when it was taken off, and for subsequent years following when they would study ephedrine and caffeine's effects. And therefore, no profit would be made by any pharmaceutical industries, and so the ECA, there was a vested interest for ECA to be taken off the market since it was more effective than what was being touted for use in individuals with obesity and overweight issues. Now that is essentially the wrap on ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin. It has some very interesting effects. It also has more side effects than I've mentioned in this video, and some people typically can get side effects from normal dosing, but as I said prior, there have been no severe adverse side effects from people taking it without a pre-existing condition. That is pretty much going to be it for the video, you guys. Again, do not take this because this stack is illegal in the United States. I cannot vouch for other countries because I don't live in other countries and I have not done the research to determine if it is illegal in your country. So if you are in Australia or in Canada, because I know I have a lot of viewers from Australia, you would have to do your own research for yourselves there, because I know yohimbine is banned in Australia as of right now, unlike the United States where yohimbine is completely legal. Thanks for sticking around till the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Please give this video a thumbs up and follow me or subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell, or if you are on Rumble, hit the Rumble button and follow my channel. I will see you guys in the next one.